Welcome to PlayStation News, Rumours and Leaks. And surprise, surprise, we're talking about Xbox as we start. How long will it be before we get Gears and Halo on the PlayStation platform? Have a think about that one. And when you hear the reasoning behind it, you start to wonder, this could really happen. Lots to discuss in the video today, guys. Starting off with PlayStation breaking records once again with its active users in December of 2023. Maybe that's the reason why Microsoft wants its games on the PlayStation platform. Let's see what happens here. We also have a lot of rumors about Xbox exclusive games making their way over to PlayStation's platform. We have an important update about HiFi Rush being rated for its impending release as a multi-plat title, with Sony filing a new PlayStation patent, which if developed and delivered sounds like it's going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. Well, for me anyway. And more rumors surface about the original MGS Remake. However, it looks like it's going to be an exclusive game. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. So yesterday we had the CES 2024 event. We all know Sony would be there. We all knew really that they were never really going to release anything from a gaming perspective for the PlayStation platform. However, Sony did reveal some very interesting information. Sony revealed during its CES 2024 press conference last night that it recorded a record 123 million active users across its consoles during December 2023. The figure represents estimates of the total number of unique accounts that played games or used PlayStation Network services. The news comes following confirmation that the PS5 has now shipped over 50 million consoles worldwide following its launch in November 2020. The system, which was released in 2020, was plagued by stock shortages for around 2 years during the COVID period, until Jim Ryan announced in January last year that the PS5 was now readily available. Since then, the PS5 has seen massive increase in sales. Looking ahead, Sony is looking to ship 25 million PS5 units during the financial year ending March 2024, which would be a previous record held by the PS1 for moving 22.6 million units during a 12-month period. Now, when you hear numbers like this, 123 million active users across just 1 month, you kind of understand Microsoft's strategy. Is Microsoft backing the wrong horse by making games exclusive on Xbox to just the Xbox ecosystem? It doesn't have a big enough active fan base. It's pretty obvious. Microsoft has clearly realized that and is now looking at ways in which it can start to recoup the money that they actively invested in Game Pass and for all the money spent during its acquisition spree. Why not, after 6 to 12 months exclusivity with Game Pass, ship the games out to PlayStation or Switch or both and recoup lots of additional funds for the Microsoft platform? It's a great strategy. And when you have over 123 million active users just on PlayStation each month, and that number will climb during the course of the next year or two, it makes perfect business sense. What are your thoughts on Xbox shipping games over to PlayStation's platform? Let me know in the comment section down below. How long do you think it will be before we get a Halo or a Gears or a, one of the bigger titles on the PlayStation platforms? Or do you not want to think about that? I'll leave that one with you. But with so many active monthly users playing on the PlayStation platform, Microsoft simply wants to capitalize on that with some of its IP that it owns. And if it means releasing back catalogue of games onto PlayStation, then surely it's a win for Microsoft and for the gamers, right? Well, that's if you play on PlayStation. Now, this will make you think. Sony will not allow Game Pass on PlayStation. It's a conflict of interest with the PlayStation Plus. So the only way those Xbox exclusive games will come to PlayStation is via a physical copy purchased from a store or a digital copy purchased from the PlayStation Store or from PlayStation Plus. How long before we see Gears, Halo, Forza in the PlayStation Store? I think I'll leave that with you. Have a think about it and let me know in the comment section down below. Moving on, it looks like HiFi Rush, the original Xbox exclusive game developed by Tango Gameworks, will be coming to PS4. Hang on, before you say something, I know this is meant to be a PlayStation News, Rumours and Leaks thing, but this is coming to PlayStation, so technically this is a PlayStation News rumor. HiFi Rush, the original Xbox exclusive game, will be coming to PS4 after a rating in Australia surfaced to reveal a PS4 and Nintendo Switch version spotted by Next Gen Player on Twitter. The rating can almost be taken as an unofficial confirmation that a game previously believed to be an Xbox exclusive title and arguably the best Xbox exclusive released in 2023 is now on its way to PlayStation. Notably though, there is no classification for the game to come to PS5 listed in the rating. Now, this could be Xbox's way of ensuring that ultimately the best place to play HiFi Rush will be on Xbox or PC and not PlayStation, since the game is making its way to the PS4. So it'll be interesting to see how it compares. That's the PS4 version against the Xbox Series S and Series X versions. Now, this also seems to reveal that the rumoured big Xbox title coming to PlayStation is not Sea of Thieves at the moment, which was the other title going around as potentially coming to PlayStation. However, this is still debatable as more rumours swirl around about other Xbox games coming to other platforms. It could also be that the reveal for Sea of Thieves is meant to come much later, with HiFi Rush arriving sooner. So maybe Sea of Thieves is presented at, say, a PlayStation showcase? Could you imagine that? Do me a favour and hit that like and subscribe button. If the next thing actually does happen, honestly, it's the next best thing since sliced bread for me. I said at the start, this is great news if it happens. So Sony Interactive Entertainment recently filed a patent for a system allowing players to download games in smaller playable chunks. This is different from current systems, which lets players start the game after the installation progress reaches a preset percentage. As Very Ali Gaming recently broke down, the patent outlines a new technique that splits games into what Sony calls application chunks. Each chunk contains data, estimating the playtime for that section of the content. The game data also includes a threshold for the minimum amount of playtime. The system then compares the estimated playtime of the downloaded chunks to the estimated time to download the next chunk. If the estimated playtime meets the threshold and is no longer than the time to download the next chunk, Sony's system installs the previous chunk. Users can then play those chunks as the download continues in the background. The latest patent application also includes a system for prioritizing chunks based on their importance to the game. The system also factors in how the individual user plays the game and uses that information to update its playtime estimates. Sony's system will use chunks priority, playtime data, and user preferences to select the next chunk to download. If the system works as intended, it should help players get into the game faster without waiting for very long downloads. However, it's also worth noting that it's just an application for a patent, so it's not something Sony plans to roll out tomorrow morning. It could take a few years before it actually hits the consoles, and that is if Sony actually decide to go ahead and make and develop this actual application system. So let's see what happens. But finally, let's move on to the final piece here. Quite exciting, actually. Lots of rumours floating around all over the last, couple of years about MGS Remake games. And we all know Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater is happening and is slated for a release in 2024. That was confirmed by Sony. A new report claims that the original Metal Gear Solid PlayStation 5 remake is still in the works. Rumours of a complete current-gen remake have been swirling for over a year, with insiders claiming that it may be a timed PS5 exclusive at launch. The rumour comes from a Spanish website which has a decent reputation when it comes to leaks. Most recently, the Spanish website reported on the existence of God of War Ragnarok's Valhalla DLC, and it confirmed that it would be revealed during the Game Awards 2022, which it did end up happening. So following the accuracy of the Valhalla report, the Spanish website seems convinced that its source's information about MGS1 PS5 Remake isn't a random guess and that it is going to happen. This mystery source further claims that Konami is currently prioritizing MGS Delta, which Sony says is slated to release later this year. The Spanish website report doesn't mention a multi-platform release, and previous rumors have stated that Sony has struck a deal for a timed PS5 exclusivity. So the website did mention, however, there will not be a PS4 release, therefore making this a PS5 exclusive MGS Remake. No mention of how long the exclusivity deal will be for, and as it's still in the land of rumours, let's just take everything with a little bit of salt at the moment. But still, any news of MGS is great because MGS is one of my all-time favourite franchises, and when I hear anything about it, I do get excited, and I do have to look into these rumors and report on them. So with so many different reputable so-called insiders, leakers, and people supposedly in the know all saying very similar things about Konami, MGS, I'd suspect that an original MGS remake is in development. Whether it's a timed exclusive or full exclusive at the moment is anyone's guess, and we'll hear more about this as time goes on in 2024. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks video.